All right, so this is your man Shattuck Stick. Today we're going to be talking about something serious. This is related to a lot of the events in the Smash community, and I'm just going to give my 2 cents on the situation and how we need to move forward after this because it has affected everyone in the Smash community negatively, period. There is no, the only, I'm not going to say it hasn't, there's not anything good to come out of this. We're going to get, I think, a much safer environment for, people in general, especially women and children who are more susceptible to being sexually abused and assaulted. But still, I think that overall this is going to be negative for the community, especially considering how far we've come, in quotation marks, considering the situation. But if you've been living under a rock within the community, or you're just outside of the community and you don't know, basically many top players, commentators, figureheads, TOs, just a lot of people in general, especially at the top, the upper echelon of the Smash community, have been exposed for being pedophiles, for being sexual deviants, for being sexual abusers, for being sexual, just rapists and molesters and everything in general, everything horrible under the sun that you can think of in that realm. And honestly, I want to tell it to you guys like this. It disgusts me at a level that it just makes me so mad. It's very hard for me to make this video because I just wind up getting mad every time I make it. But there's a few things I want to cover. First of all, I want to say that these people are not redeemable. They cannot be saved. Zero, Anti, Ally, Keitaro, Nairo, D1, all these people and more, so on. Those are just, the biggest ones I could think of. Senpai, all these people are not redeemable. They need to be put in jail and punished to the fullest extent to the law, or to the fullest extent of the law. And it's the fact that I know they probably will not be punished by law. And that's scary because we had a situation recently within another Pokemon or another community, a Pokemon community, which is sort of a sister community to the Smash community, where one of its top figureheads, the King Nappy, returned despite it being proven that he was a manipulator, a sexual deviant, a pedophile, and more. It's just crazy that he was able to come back. And all he had to do was just not address anything. Someone asked about it, he'll just been like, yo, it sucks that we got ourselves in that situation. And that's not okay. So these people are irredeemables. Don't sit here. There are people right now that are blaming victims. One of the most notable ones is the situation with Nairo and Captain Zack. If you guys don't know, this was one of the first ones to blow up. It wasn't the first one, but it was one of the first major ones to really blow the lid off of thing. Captain Zack dropped on the timeline after Puppe earlier in the day dropped his TwitLonger about Senpai. Zack basically released his because a lot of things have been happening, just not even within the Smash community, but within the FGC in general around things like this. And it turns out that Nairo had slept with Captain Zack when he was of the age of 15. Now, at this time, Nairo was 20. This is highly illegal, immoral, and just disgusting. In this situation, many people were like getting ready to get the pitchfork at, Captain Zack and say, oh, he was trying to blackmail him like he did Ally. And I have to say a few things before I go on. First of all, it doesn't matter whether he was trying to blackmail / bribe Nairo or not. Nairo was the adult in the situation. He is completely 100% in the wrong. If a child is approaching you, trying to have sexual relations with you, you walk away. You tell them, no, I'm sorry, but you are underage. I will not do that. But instead, Nairo had sex with. And Nairo himself knew that. He knew what he did was disgusting and wrong. And he sent him $2,000 in hush money as soon as he could, which shows how the predators in the Smash community work. They're all the top dogs. So, if someone says they did something to someone else, no one's going to say anything about it. Because they're all as disgusting as the guy who got told on himself or told someone else. They all sit there and they're all doing the same thing. And it's frankly horrific. So again, none of the victims are to blame. It is only the assaulters in this case. The, subhuman pieces of garbage. Again, like Nairo, like Zero, like Ally, like Anti, like Keitaro, like D1. But how are these situations happening? Again, I already told you, they're essentially running a coalition up there. Like, let's keep it real. Because you have people who know information and say nothing because they believe it's not their place to say anything, when that is completely wrong. Yes, I know you don't want to traumatize the victim. I know that. But when people continue to do these things over and over and over and over and over and over again, and people know, and they say nothing, you're just as liable in that situation as the person who did it. Now, I'm not gonna say you're just as like responsible in the sense that, oh, you did the action yourself, but you're essentially enabling their behavior because but you're not doing anything, meaning they can get away with it because people aren't willing to speak up. It's a double-edged sword, but for the greater good, if someone knows information, they need to speak up. They need to do something. But what do I think we need to do as a community to prevent these things? There are a few major things I think we need to do. First of all, people aren't going to like what I'm going to say, but I think we need to have age division based tournaments, because it's too much to have these tournaments where all these kids and stuff are going and they're in communication with adults. Again, Smash is a game that appeals on a wide spectrum. You have characters like Mario, Pikachu, Sonic the Hedgehog, the whole 9 yards, characters that appeal to everyone, especially kids. And then you have characters like Solid Snake, Bayonetta, those hard, gritty characters, that the adult, mature characters in this game, so that appeals to adults and it drives in audiences from both sides, and it creates a game that many can resonate with and play because there's someone who appeals to basically anyone of any age group or demographic, which is one of the great things about Smash. But because of that, I think we need to raise the security, because there are people who are going to take advantage of that, like we've seen just over the past few days, how they've been taking advantage of that for so long. Like, let's keep it real. So I think they need to do something, and I think they also need to require kids under 18 to have a chaperone. Like, there has to be something. Either they need, at major events, they need to require kids to either A, have a chaperone, or B, be split into a different division. That's just how I think it needs to be, because obviously people are not keeping their penises out of these kids. Or in the case of Cinnamon, trying to keep kids' PPs out of them, there's this is too much. But the second thing I think we need to do is, I think we need to crack down on these after parties, because so many of these stories happen at these parties after tournaments or during tournaments or while they're going on. First of all, y'all need to be IDing every single person who comes through that room to make sure they can legally drink, to make sure they're over 18. Because the fact that y'all have all these kids and, stuff coming through there while y'all are drinking is ridiculous. Doing drugs and stuff, like, that's just ridiculous. Around children, come on. And the fact that you're giving these kids alcohol and drugs and then using that to take advantage of them is even more sick. Like, why is no one carding, people coming into these hotel rooms? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Come on. And if y'all were rooming with a minor, can y'all just not drink? Like, come on, seriously. Like I never understood this notion of, oh, we gotta drink even though we got minors in the room. What's wrong with you? Like, what is genuinely wrong with you? And then what happens is, some sick sleazebag comes into the room and decides they're gonna take that kid off to another room and have sex with him. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. We need to crack down on these after parties. I don't think they need to be happening, period, because it's obvious like these grown-ups aren't grown enough to have a party. And then C, I think, again, this goes with that victim blaming thing and stuff I was talking about earlier. These people are disgusting monsters. But when someone speaks up, we don't need to just automatically shut down what they say. I think the greatest example of this was, I think their name is either Jisoo or Visu. I'm going to check right now. It's Jisoo. Sorry, I didn't want to get their name wrong. But basically, Jisoo came out about the things that happened with her and Zero. All right. And before Zero even responded, people were ready at the floor to say, what you're saying is wrong. And many people say, oh, you need proof. A lot of these people don't have proof. And it's not because, they when you're getting sexually assaulted, people aren't thinking, oh, I got to get my camera out and all this and the whole 9 yards. It's because it's right then and there in the moment. And especially when it happens quite literally years ago, there's nothing that victim can do about it. Get off of their back. And I'm not saying, oh, we should go in and we should just immediately believe the victim. That's not what I'm saying. But don't sit there and shoot the messenger immediately, or shoot the messenger just because they said something. Like, genuinely, you need to sit down and listen to what they have to say, because just because someone's your favorite Smash player doesn't mean that, they're a good person. Zero made 3 or 4 different statements. One, saying, oh no, these things with Jisoo didn't really happen. Then, going back and say, oh no, they did happen, and these things other people are accusing me of, they didn't really happen. And then he makes another tweet longer saying, all right, guys, sorry, but all of it happened. And then the final one, he just said, oh man, I did everything, and then I diddled a kid. Like, it's the fact that people were so ready to attack these victims, despite them being right. And again, I understand being ready to defend, especially like if you're personally friends with someone, saying that is innate and you say that is out of character for them. I don't believe you. That makes sense. And provide evidence, that makes sense. But to attack these people and just say they're blatantly lying just because they couldn't provide evidence is ridiculous. Because some of them, again, there's no evidence to provide because they can't, like, it's not like, oh, they sat there and they had a camera out recording while it was happening to them. Sorry, not sorry. That's how the world works. Again, be willing to listen to these victims. Yes, it has happened in the past where, someone lied, but the overwhelming majority of these cases wind up being true, like somewhere over 90%. And like when there's rumors or something about somebody and that they did something, we need to look into that. Because one of the greatest cases of someone getting away with this in the public's face is Anti. There's a reason why Anti has had issues with women within the Smash community. And it's because he's one of these deviants out there doing it. And honestly, it's kind of disgusting that people are so ready to essentially side with him immediately. Again, because he's their favorite Smash player. He's their favorite Smasher. And then, even then, when there will be evidence there, and then people just discount it. Anti literally repeated one of the accusations against him and said, oh, this is all true, but she didn't say she was under 18. With no evidence, to say that she didn't say she was under 18. Which to me is kind of like a big red flag. It's a really big red flag. But I don't know. This was a hard video for me to make because I'm trying not to get really angry, and I'm trying not to go too far off of the topic. Overall, the Smash community just had one of the biggest cleansings. It's a cleanse that it needed, essentially. People have been getting away with these despicable acts for too long, and it's been tainting our community. And I'm glad they're gone. Is it sad? Is it, just really upsetting? Yes. But it was happening there whether you knew it or not. You knowing it doesn't mean it didn't. You knowing it or not knowing it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And that's kind of the moral of the story. Excuse me. But overall, if you need someone to talk to, guys, and you've experienced anything like this, my Twitter DMs and my Discord DMs are open. If you can go to channels like Inferno Omni. I know he has his DMs open. Go there. Other people in the community have their DMs open for you guys to tell your stories. But this has been your man Shattuck Stick, and we're out. Have a good one. Stay safe.